October 1st already. I can't believe there's only 3 more months in this calendar year. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC, and I'm here today with another WOAMTEC Live and some amazing guests that are going to help us end the year strong. Not only professionally when it comes to business, but when it comes to family, friends, fellowship, and just plain old having fun, because today's day is all about events. But before we get into that, let's talk about your upcoming WOAMTEC events. I just want to take a moment and share with you that starting today, we have a 3 for 30 challenge that's been issued. For every 3 qualified guests that you bring to a WOAMTEC meeting, you will be eligible for 30 free days worth of membership. I don't care who you are, I don't care where you are, for every 3 guests that you bring. And that means if you bring 9, you get 3 free months. If you bring 12, you get 4 free months. You can do the math from there. But for every 3 guests that you bring between October 1st and October 30th, you will automatically receive 30 days of membership free. So now it's time to make a difference in somebody else's life and share WOAMTEC with those people that you know, and maybe even those people that you need to know but don't know yet. Reach out to them, invite them to attend a chapter meeting, and help them end the year strong. You know, with only 90 days, do you believe it? 90 days left in this calendar year, it's time to really take a look at your profit and loss statements, really take a look at where you are financially and where you want to end up at the end of this calendar year. I debuted an entrepreneurial educational tip this week on how you can give yourself a raise. That's right, I'm going to show you how to make more money and give yourself a raise. So if you haven't logged into WOAMTEC.com as a member, log into WOAMTEC.com and view this week's entrepreneurial education. And you can learn how you can begin making more money immediately. Now, speaking of money, let's talk a little bit about how you can help your employees feel as though they are excited about the money they're making each and every single day. Let's talk a little bit about how you can reward your employees for the money they're making you each and every single day, because we're going to talk a little bit about how to provide just a little bit of extra love and TLC as you close out the calendar year through events, and how to make the most with your family, your friends, your employees, your customers, and those people in your industry around you. So I would now like to introduce an amazing person, our first guest of the day. I'm excited to say not only a WOAMTEC member, a WOAMTEC ambassador of our Altamont Springs chapter, and just an all-around great guy that's done many events for us, and I'm sure he's going to continue to do many events in the future with us as well. So can you please welcome to the set Brian Horine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Why don't you look at everybody and tell everybody who you are, and give them your 60 seconds. What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Brian, like we talked about. I do own Standing Ovation Entertainment. It is an entertainment company. We do DJing, we have photo booths, lighting, we also do a little bit of decor with some drapery and stuff like that. You know, we really just kind of bring the fun to all of these different events that we do, weddings, birthday, corporate events, anything really big to really, really small.
I think that that's really important, because as we continue to talk, I think it's important for everybody that's watching to keep in mind that, you know, whether you're planning a wedding event, whether you're planning a corporate or a holiday Christmas party or a bat mitzvah, it doesn't matter what it is that you're planning.
Right.
It's really important that first, if you're going to do something, you do it where people have a takeaway. They leave with a memory. You do it with a purpose. You do it with passion. And I also think that it's important to keep in mind that you need to do it right. You know, you can stress out so much more, you know, doing it the wrong way than the right way.
Absolutely.
So, before we get into all the little details, I do want to mention you called yourself an entertainment company. What is the difference between an entertainment company and a DJ?
That's a great question. So an entertainment company really kind of consists of multiple aspects. So if it's just a DJ, it's going to be probably just a single person, and the only thing they're really going to provide is just a DJ service. So they're going to come out to your party, and they may just provide music for you. With an entertainment company like we have, we provide the multiple services like we went over, and we have multiple staff on our crew as well. So say if somebody, one of our DJs got sick, we would be able to have somebody, you know, at that event at the scheduled time on time. As with maybe just with an entertainment or with just a DJ company, it might just be by themselves, and they wouldn't be able to actually have somebody there to replace them.
Absolutely. I think that's really important, because you never know when someone can get in a car accident or someone can get sick, or when there could be a death in the family. You never know when that can happen.
Right.
And if you're just relying on one person to either come and a one-man shop, you know, somebody that works out of their home that's doing it on the side,
right,
they not only might not be able to be there or have a replacement, but I can imagine they might not have backup equipment, you know, and that's huge.
Right, absolutely. And with every event that we go to, we always bring a backup equipment. One of our main things that I have to have for all my DJs is we have to have backup laptops. So if one of our laptops goes down, we have another laptop to go off of.
Okay, I never would have thought of that. I think that's brilliant. And with technology today, I would imagine that you do use laptops. I mean, you couldn't do an event without that, which is huge. Now, you mentioned some of the things that make events unique and make events special. And I think that a lot of times, especially with technology the way it is right now, a lot of times people are so focused on, you know, how can I save money, or why can't I just plug my iPod up to a speaker? And those are things that can be done. But when someone's doing that, when someone's cutting back costs and trying to be price conscious only when planning an event, what are some of the things that may end up happening if that's the case? Like, I know the first thing that comes to mind is dead air and how that can just suck the energy out of a room. Like, what are some of the things that can happen?
Absolutely. So with people who have, and we get it all the time, we really say, oh, we were thinking about just plugging in an iPod into maybe the venue sound system and just having some music. Well, it's not just the music that's going to make your event. With the dead air and the selection of music that you may have with your personal taste may not be what your guests' personal tastes are. Also, we know, you know, being in the industry for so long, we know what songs really get the crowds going. So really, you know, with doing an iPod, you're going to select your own music. You might not know exactly what you want. You're going to have that dead air, but at the same time, you're not going to have another person there in control of the music the whole time and in control of the crowd. So when we go out to events, either be a single person or a double person, a DJ and an MC, we're going to interact with the guests. You know, we're going to maybe get out there and do a line dance with them and kind of do, you know, different events that we have, different segments that we'll have throughout the night. We'll do it with the guests that are there to really make it something extra and special.
I think that's great, because I know you do want to get the crowd up and going. You do want to, you know, get everybody dancing and having a good time. And if they're waiting for the bride and groom, or if they're waiting for, you know, the boss to be the one to get the party started, it may never get started, and that's huge. So how do little things like uplighting or some of the other services you offer, how does that play or change or improve a special event?
Absolutely. So with lighting and all the extra little services that we offer with the decor and stuff, really do set a DIY event apart from an event where we have actually come in and done production work. If you go into an event hall and it's just going to be the normal lights of the event hall, it's going to be very hard to get those people kind of jazzed to really do anything, because it's going to be kind of like they're going to, you know, any typical location. They're going to the mall, they're going to shop or something. Fluorescent lights don't tend to get people up and ready to want to dance. So when we bring our lighting out there, we're actually setting a mood. When we bring our lights and we bring other decor items, stuff like that, it really does set the mood and set the tone for the rest of the night. If you have people on the dance floor and you have just the normal fluorescent lights of most venues, it doesn't really do much. But when we actually start dancing, our lights will change colors. We have a control with our iPod, and we can actually control all of our lights. So we'll start dancing to the beat of the music as well. And it kind of, not want to say it's a club feeling, but it really does get people involved in dancing when the lights are going. You have all, it's kind of a sensory kind of thing with the lights and stuff going.
Absolutely. You know, and I can tell you that because I come from the wedding and event industry, and I've been in that circle, when we do our conferences, we have a tendency of bringing our conferences and making it more exciting, making it more fun and enjoyable too. And we do add lighting when we do our conferences and events. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that I've attended a conference where you walk into a hotel and there's white linens and there's no uplighting and there's no special decor. And it's like, ugh, I'm going to a conference. I'm learning how to work. You know what I mean? I'm learning how to do my job. Your energy feels different.
Absolutely.
But if you walk into a conference, and I've had people say this, if you walk into a conference and there's uplighting and there's special decor and there's loud music and everything's happening, the energy level goes up. Mm-hmm. And people feel better about that experience that they've experienced. You know, I actually had somebody go to one of our events and they walked into the wrong boardroom or the conference room. And when they walked into the conference room, it was kind of funny, or ironically, it was a conference for a bunch of attorneys. And when they walked into the conference room, they were like, oh, she didn't decorate today. And then it was like, no, you're in the wrong room. And then she went in, she went, And so it showed me that from a psychological point of view, it affects your emotions, it affects your feelings based upon what you're bringing there.
Absolutely.
So, and I know you don't just do like weddings and parties and bat mitzvahs and things like that. It doesn't have to be about a dance floor and a really good time and a lot of fun. It can also be about conferences. It can also be about, seminars, and it can be about team building activities. So what are some of the things that you would recommend somebody that's watching, no matter where you're at in the United States, what should they look for when hiring somebody to do something that's business related, and how can they make it more fun?
Absolutely. So when they're trying to hire vendors in my industry, the key aspect that they really want to look for is personality. If it's going to be a person that you're hiring that's going to be hosting the show, or an MC or the actual DJ that's going to be there performing, you want to make sure they have a really good personality, because again, they are going to be the ones in front of everybody getting them going.
Mm-hmm.
So personality is really a number one, and then you mesh with them. As a client, do you mesh with the person that you're hiring, because you do have to deal with them, for 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years even down the road, depending on how long your event is that you're booking. So that's really a really big factor that you want to have. And then you also want to take into consideration, it's not always price. You always want to take into consideration that it is, what equipment are they going to bring for you? There's equipment that's been out there for a very long time, and it's changing constantly. There's always new equipment coming out there. And it can age very fast, just like computers age very fast. 1 year you'll have this computer, next year you have to update. So it's the same thing with our equipment as well. And then are they going to provide you the same thing? Like if you get a quote from them and you get 2 other quotes, well, you have to make sure what they're quoting you is exactly the same.
Absolutely.
So you may have one quote that might have 2 speakers that are little 500-watt speakers. It just label it as PA speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And the next quote may say 1,000-watt PA speakers, and then the other one just may say something totally different as well. Well, you want to maybe take the time and ask them, well, what speakers are these? What will you be providing us? A lot of things that we consider when you're doing that is that will those PA speakers be enough for my event? Obviously, you wouldn't want to have somebody, if you only have an event of 50 people, you don't need 1,000-watt speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Those little ones can do the job just as fine. But if you're doing an event of 2,000 people, will 2 be enough? And if they are big enough, will those work? So equipment, make sure that everything is lined up, with Chevy versus Ford and stuff like that. You just want to make sure that you're getting quoted the same. So don't always pick the cheapest one, but pick the one that will definitely fit for your event.
Absolutely. I can tell you that we personally had a segment where we had contracted somebody based upon price to bring in our LCD projectors. And when we got there, we realized that the guy brought the exact same LCD projector with the exact same lumens that we personally own. So we could have literally brought our own, and it wouldn't have been a problem.
Right.
So it was just a small detail that we forgot to ask. Mm-hmm. And we had assumed, because they were an event company, they were going to provide us with commercial or higher level of equipment. So you never want to assume. That's very important. And I agree with the speakers too, because we've had events where we've done conferences where the event, the speakers couldn't fill the room. They weren't, the people in the back of the room were having a challenge hearing because they weren't powerful enough.
Right.
So that's important. Now, what are some of the faux pas that you want to encourage people not to make when planning special events? Besides, what they're looking for and who they're hiring, have you ever seen an entertainer disaster that you would like to encourage people to avoid?
Yeah, we hear stories all the time. So a couple things that you definitely want to avoid when hiring other vendors is, the biggest one is hiring somebody that had kind of a weirder personality, of course. And then we've heard some really bad stories on how that event actually ran that whole entire night. Everything was off time. The guests weren't really having a good time. We actually had an event that was down. It was a pretty big corporate event. They didn't hire us to do the DJ service, but they hired us to do all of the lighting. Mm-hmm. And the DJ there that was played nothing but 1 or 2 artists, and he wasn't a very good DJ. So everybody literally left right after dinner and went back out to the cocktail hour where there's another DJ out there that was playing better music and stuff. So literally the whole room sat empty for a whole hour.
Wow. Wow, that's horrible. You never want to see that happen. Absolutely not. Now, what are some of the team building exercises or activities? Why would somebody hire a DJ or an entertainment company to do team building activities to help their staff or to help their business?
So with team building activities, it's really good for corporate events because company morale can come down. especially towards the end of the year with all the holiday stress and stuff like that. So if you have a corporate party, you want to include some team building stuff to bring the morale back up. Whether it be something as dance competitions, of course, we also do, we have games that we can play with them with, like bingo cards. We have a game called Two Truths, One Lie that we'll play with them as well. And it just kind of lightens up the atmosphere, kind of brings everybody back together to work as one unison.
I think that's awesome. So whether you are somebody that owns a company and you want to create a team building activity for you and your employees or your customers, or you do seminars and special events and you want to create something that is going to be good for the people that are coming to your seminars and just kind of break it up. I know I'm talking to Brian right now about helping us with our youth summit as a way to keep, how do you keep 500 16-year-olds that have been in foster care their whole life contained for 8 hours and happy? Well, you break it up with an entertainment company. So it doesn't matter who you are, but I think that what you should look at is if you run a business and you're sitting there saying, okay, how can I thank my customers? How can I thank my staff? How can I, reward people and let them know that they're loved? Because you've heard me say it before, everybody truly wears a sign that says, make me feel special. And if you make them feel special, they will work for you, they will appreciate you, they will be loyal and faithful to you because you made them feel important and you made them feel special and because they know that you respect them. How do you do that? Well, when it comes to the holidays, you do it by having a party. You do it by celebrating. You do it by creating a cohesive work environment and increasing morale. Now, Brian, as somebody that is in the entertainment industry, with everything that you do, what are some of the things that you love the most about being part of people's events?
Wow. So what I really love most about my job and being a part of these events is the weddings that we do. We're joining families together, and every wedding I do, I see the father-daughter dance, and I really always think about myself and my daughter. And of course, it's way down the road because it's she's only 4 years right now. But I really love the weddings aspect of our event because I really like seeing the families getting together. I love seeing people getting married and stuff. So that's what I really love to do.
Well, and that's great because you actually got an award. So what a great segue to that. So you got a Wedding Wire award,
yes,
which is awesome.
Absolutely. So top 5% DJs. In Florida, which they gave us that award for 2014. Hopefully we'll get it for 2015.
That is terrific. Well, I know that you also do some very creative things with some of the display booths that you've made and things like that I encourage people that whether you're planning a special event or you're doing a wedding, I encourage people to talk to you about how you can make it different. And you have a special that you're going to be offering people. So what is that special? Yeah,
so we're going to do 10% off of our price that we have right now for all WOAMTEC members. They'll have 10% off of our total package price.
Oh, awesome. So if you want to book an event or if you have a special party or anything that you'd like to do, reach out to Brian. Now, he's so successful and talented that he's only working for people that are around the Central Florida, maybe a little bit away, north and south, but that's pretty much it. But I'm sure that if you're planning on booking a holiday party or a special event or a wedding and you just want to reach out to Brian as a WOAMTEC member, I'm sure he would be more than happy to give you some tips or pointers in who to look for when hiring somebody that's out there. Now, is there a website or an association that people in the event industry are typically part of if they're not like that hobby person that's doing it, on the weekends?
Absolutely. So Wedding Wire, where we got this award from, Wedding Wire is, I would say, probably one of the bigger websites that you can go to. You are going to find just DJs that are on there that are the smaller ones, but you're really going to be able to tell what kind of a service they're going to provide because they do have a review service on there, and you're really going to be able to tell by the design of their page and pictures from past events.
Okay, that's awesome. And how do they get in touch with you if they want to find you?
Absolutely. So you can reach me at besteventdj.com, or you can call us on our phone number. It's 407-383-9676.
That's awesome. Thank you so much again
Absolutely.
for being here today.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I look forward to working with you. I had so much fun at the dance night that we did, and I look forward to doing the Youth Summit, which, speaking of the Youth Summit, I casually mentioned it, but we are going to be doing on February 16, 2015. WOAMTEC Foundation is doing our first ever Courage to Dream Youth Summit. And what the Youth summit will be is we are empowering children who have been abused, neglected, or abandoned through no fault of their own, and helping them break the cycle of victimization by having the courage to dream. And we're doing that by bringing these kids together, these young adults, not kids, excuse me, these young adults together, and we're doing an 8-hour youth summit, and going to break it down with some really fun stuff that Brian's going to help us do. So I can't wait for that event. I am looking for people to participate. I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for companies to donate prizes that these kids can win as we do these team building activities. I don't care if it's for doing a hula hoop contest or getting out there and doing a dance. It doesn't matter what it is, but we're looking to reward them with prizes. We're looking to fill their Courage to Dream backpacks with donations, and just really create an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others, and help them understand that they don't have to be a product of what they stem from. They don't have to repeat that pattern. They don't have to end up homeless or in jail or end up pregnant unless they choose to. They all have the choices to make tomorrow a brighter day and a different day. So if you would like to help me do this, I really would like to connect with you. Now, what I can tell you is our goal is to take what we're doing here in Central Florida and create a manual, create a system, create the ability to reproduce and do this exact same summit all across the United States of America. So if you would like to bring a Courage to Dream Youth Summit to your community, and if you feel as though there's a leader in you, I want to connect with you, because I want to help connect you with the people and give you the resources that you can empower the people in your community as well. And together we can make a difference all across the USA. So I'm so excited about that. I do want to give a quick shout out to some new directors that we have. Alana in Winter Garden, you are doing a fantastic job. I had people fighting to get in your chapter this week. That's so exciting. We have Chelsea in Tomball, Texas. I know that we've gotten some great things coming through to you, and we just did your postcards for you today. Tanya Roller, shout out. Thank you very much for doing that. And then I also want to reach out to Latasha from Columbus, Ohio. I am so excited. I'm a Buckeye girl. I don't know if you realize that, but I am from Ohio, and it just brings my heart great joy and great pleasure that that you're bringing WOAMTEC to my home state, and frankly, I can't wait till all my relatives hear of WOAMTEC up there, because it just will tickle my heart. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know we've got several new directors, and hopefully I'll have time to give you a shout out too. But if you're watching, whether you're a new director or a new member, it doesn't matter, or you're a guest and you're thinking, what the heck is WOAMTEC? You know, what does that mean? I just wrote a blog this week. You can see it on our WOAMTEC Facebook page. You can also see it on WOAMTEC.com that explains what WOAMTEC is. But I want you to understand that WOAMTEC is not just women on a mission to earn commission. Obviously, Brian was just on the set, and he's obviously not a woman, because men are welcome, women are required. But it is not just about revenue generating commissions either. It's about more than that. It's about the greater commissions in life. It's about making a difference in other people's lives. It's about building relationships. It's truly about connecting with one another and understanding that if you do good in other people's lives, it will come back to you. If you help other people reach their goals, it will come back to you. And your commissions will come. They'll come when they need to come. They'll come when you need them, because you're living life with integrity. So if you're not a member and you want to find out about being a member, please visit WOAMTEC, WOAMTEC.com for more information, because we would love to have you join a chapter or start a chapter near you, because we are now hiring directors nationwide. Speaking of directors, I have a fabulous one that's been a director for, oh goodness gracious, 8 years. 8 years. She's been a director of a WOAMTEC chapter for 8 years. The second director or the third director?
Well, I had 3 chapters.
No, but did you start first or did C start first? Because you started first. Okay, yes. So the second director, I remember when she came to us at the Heathrow Country, or not at Heathrow Country Club, at the time we were at Louis Gino's. She came to us at Louis Gino's, the Heathrow chapter, and she said, Kathleen, I want to start a chapter. And she did. And 8 years later, we have the fabulous Toni Curlin. So
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, how many plates you spin?
Very many, and I'm just so happy to be here. I can't believe everyone said, you haven't been on WOAMTEC Live yet? I'm like, no, isn't that terrible? Because this is awesome. Kathleen is amazing. But I'm the director of catering for Heathrow Country Club and Legacy Club, and I've been blessed to be doing weddings and events for 30 years. I mean, it's my heart. I love it. Besides all the other hats I wear, and my director hat too, it's just something that I love, and I'm a full wedding and event planner. So.
And I know personally I've worked with you for many, many, many years. I think I've known you, I think over 20 years. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. A very long time. But I know that you do more than just book people's weddings and do catering at the club. You really do help them in a myriad of ways, which is why I wanted to have you on the segment today, because I think it's really important that you, if you're planning events, that you understand that it's not just about hiring a venue or selecting a venue, it's who you're going to be working with. Right. And I know, because I work with hotels all the time, and I also host our meetings at Heathrow Country Club. Right. Shout out to Heathrow. Thank you, everybody. You do such a fantastic job with WOAMTEC Heathrow. I know that there's a huge difference between working with hotels and working with country clubs. So if you are watching and you're thinking about planning a holiday event, you're trying to book a conference, you're trying to book a seminar, you want to do a national convention, or you want to do a major corporate event, whatever it may be, I want you to take into consideration the importance of the difference between the two, and also some tips that you might want to consider that you might not be aware of if you're not used to doing this all the time. So, Toni, tell everybody a little bit about what you have found is the difference between booking at a country club, and I'll add my 2 cents in because I don't work for either, at a country club versus a hotel. What are things that they may need to take into consideration?
Yeah, I mean, there's just such a huge difference. Again, my career of 30 years has been only private clubs, and I've been offered many jobs at huge, huge corporate hotels, and I just feel like the personalization that we give, the hands-on helping, the vendors that we help you with, and Brian being one of them, is so key. There's just a lot of work behind events, whether it's just a small lunch or a wedding, which is what we do mostly, is weddings. There are just so many people that can steer you in the wrong direction. And if you're not working with professionals and you have the wrong person, it's a make or break your day completely.
I think I hear you absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. And one of the things that I've discovered is, when you're working with a hotel, and I love our hotels, the hotels that I work with, thank you for doing such a great job for everything that you do. But when I'm working with a hotel, first of all, the turnover of the salesperson is quite frequent. So I could be hiring one person or working with one person, and all of a sudden my file gets tossed to somebody else, and I got to make sure I remember everything the first person I communicated and it's correct.
Absolutely.
But then the day of, I'm working with somebody different, and then 3 days before, I'm working with somebody different. So how is it different between bigger venues and more intimate venues?
Well, I mean, for instance, and I love working with the hotels too out there. I mean, there's usually like 6 to 8 sales directors, and so they have different segments, and then the file is then turned over to, say, a catering director, then it's turned over to a banquet captain, then it's turned over to a manager. I mean, you truly don't get the personal planning that we provide at a private country club, and I do find that that's pretty nationwide. I just got back from a huge conference at the Breakers in West Palm, so I'm still a little spoiled on everything that was going on down there. But it was for club catering professionals all over the United States. And there were 160 of us there, and we all mirrored the same thing about our passion. Not only at a club is it more family, like WOAMTEC. You plan the wedding, I do the baby shower, I do the anniversary, I do the birthday. It's such a family-oriented, and we pass that on to our clients. They become our family on a continued basis. We keep in touch with them. We have signature things that we do. We send them 1-year anniversary emails. We send them birthday anniversary, everything. And we just keep in touch with them. Whether it's, at a hotel, I feel like it's an event that happens and it's gone. Right. The people don't come back. And we're a big community. That's what I call it.
I think that's awesome. And the Breakers is phenomenal.
It is.
That's an amazing hotel. That's the first hotel, I got to tell you, it's the best hotel.
It was
awesome. They have the restaurant, like, being a new mom, my husband and I went down there. We had an event down there, and being a new mom, it was the coolest thing. I could actually check my kids in and eat dinner. Like, check my kids in someplace else and eat dinner without kids. Now, if you're a new mom that's out there and is watching, that's like priceless. That's worth the hour and a half of freedom.
And we do kids clubs.
See?
There's not many country clubs that have a kids club. We take kids clubs, get them babysitters. I provide a babysitter at the hotel if they want to do pizza parties. I mean, we do it all. So I'm a full service planner for all of our events. So, and again, the Breakers was awesome, so I'm taking some of that and trying to bring it to the club.
That's what I want to talk about, I want to talk about some of the things that you learned through this convention recently. What are the hot trends or tips, or what are some things, if we're out there and we're thinking, I want to plan an event, what are some of the things that we should be considering?
Oh, there were some awesome trends. Everything is live right now. You want action stations. I mean, there were carving fruit stations. Instead of going and getting a fruit display, they were actually carving it in front of you. Soup stations with different toppings, oatmeal bars. Everything is small right now. People aren't eating big pieces. Everything was bite-sized. all the little juice glasses. And they didn't just do orange juice and grapefruit. I mean, there was mango and pomegranate and white grapefruit. And I mean, just trends of getting out of that box of, oh, here's a continental breakfast. There's some muffins, some fruit, orange juice, and coffee. It was hot chocolate bars. It was, you know, family-style service is big too. But everything is tiny now, and it's just more fun, interactive. Wait staff walking around with boxes with food in them and being interactive, and that's really important when it comes to our staff because, again, we're like a family, so I like to pass on things for them to do as well so that they're interactive with the members and the guests, and they can engage with them and explain to them why it's important to use a private club and also come back. We do more than weddings. You know, we too won a nice Wedding Wire Award, Bride's Choice in the United States in the top 10. So, you know, we're very, very hands-on with our clients, and so is the staff.
I think that's important, and you know, I think the interactive stations is really, really cool because it's providing another form of entertainment. It's making it unique, and I love the smaller portions because the smaller portions are allowing you to try more without, you know, overindulging on a huge piece of whatever the cake may be or whatever. So I think that's creative. It's unique. It's different. Now, you said to me something once about why my sister-in-law shouldn't plan a beach wedding. They were considering a beach wedding. What is the difference between a beach event and a beach event and an outside wedding of some sort?
You know, and I have nothing against the beach. For those of you that are at the beach, live at the beach, it's just the weather elements are so unguaranteed, and just the sand. There's wind. There's no backup, you know, and it's your special. It's your one day. Even pool parties are tough. We know. We planned a WOAMTEC pool party. It never rained. But, you know, outside weddings are very difficult. They sound so enticing, but use that for your honeymoon. Don't do a wedding at the beach. I hope no one's planning one right now. I'm sorry.
Well, let me tell you, the reason why I brought that up, because that's stuck in my head all the time. And one of the things that I can tell you is I was at the beach not too long ago, and I was outside running, and it was early in the morning. And they had set up, and they had this big gazebo, and they had all of these chairs. There were a bunch of halfly naked people surrounding the ceremony site. And I was like, oh, dear Lord, how is the photographer going to get any shot that could even be remotely decent? Because, like, all around where they were at, it was a public property. There's no blocking it off. Like, it's people can prop wherever they want to prop.
Exactly, and that's another nice thing about a club. Now that you brought that up, we're not in a hotel where there's people walking by your ceremony area or your cocktail room on their way to the pool with, you know, half clothed or, you know, walking into your room by mistake. A private club, you're going to have a lot more, you know, intimacy as far as, you know, we seat 200 people, but there's not going to be anybody else in your room, in your cocktail room, in your restrooms either. It's all private, so you can do what you want, and it's your property.
I think that that's important, and I think that that's really a vital element to actually bring in, because you don't want people photobombing, your wedding pictures or your corporate pictures for that matter. If these images, if these photos are going to be what you're going to build your brand on and what you're going to promote to your employees to increase morale or promote to the community to increase public relations, you don't want to bring in other elements that you're not in control of. It's really important to make it look fun, to make it look natural, to make it go off without a problem and easy, flawless. But it's also really important to take into consideration that you need to make it look effortlessly. Correct. But make sure you take care of every single detail and you're in control of what's happening that night.
Absolutely. And we're very detail oriented. I mean, I'm from the beginning to the end. I'll walk in a room and the first thing I do, obviously, I always look down. Then I look up and I look around, because a lot of people in the industry, they get tunnel vision, and it's eye for detail. And that's another thing that bringing in vendors, they have to be professional. There's, what sticks in my mind is always the bride or the planner that wants to do their own centerpieces, and they want to do them the day of the day of their wedding, or mom's doing them and she's in the wedding. And again, hire the right people. Know what you know, not what you don't. It's, hire professional people, and that's where I steer them. I even help brides and companies that may not be planning things with me, and I'll say, you know what, it's okay, I get it. Maybe my venue's just not for you, call me. If you have any questions on contracts, if you have any questions on pricing. I've been, around 30 years, and I've been in Central Florida a long time, and in Heathrow since '97. So I can help you, even though you may not be planning with me, I give my services for free. Because I think in the end, it's how the day went. And at the end, was everybody happy? And then that really comes down the pipe. People go, well, she helped me even though, it wasn't at Heathrow or Legacy Club. So that's kind of key too, is vendors.
Is absolutely hiring the right vendors, and just because you can doesn't mean you should. I say that 1,000 times, if not more. I think it's really important to take into consideration that you want to delegate as much as you can if the day is really important. You know, I plan events for a living. That's what I do. That's all we do all day long. And just recently, you know, I helped my brother coordinate his wedding.
Absolutely.
Somewhat of a mistake because there were 5 of us in our family, 5 of us in the
I
bridal
tried to
party.
tell her not to do that.
But the one thing I delegated was the linens. I purchased the linens. All my mother had to do was steam them and put them on the table. That's it, the one task. When she went to do it, she said, "Oh, I got to go take a shower." And she left. The mother of the groom left and totally dissed the one task she had. Thank God, another shout out to Tanya Roller for being there to save the day to steam the linens. But, you know, that just showed me that how much would it have cost, really, to just rent them and have somebody else deal with that. And I think that when you're looking at things, you really need to analyze that.
Yes.
Going back to the hotel, and I'm not throwing hotels under the bus, but I also know that often they can change your location.
Correct.
And in the contracts, you want to make sure that you're reading the contract very carefully, because if they're changing your location, we had a conference recently, and it was like, what are we going to do, and how are we going to shift gears, and how are we going to make this work? But they got a pharmacy company to come in and spend more money on a convention, and it was like, okay, we're bumped, we're out.
Yeah.
And, you know, fine detail, and I've been doing events at this location for years. So that, you know, you would have thought there was loyalty, but the bottom line is with all of us, when it comes to the dollar, when it comes to the bottom line, when it comes to making money, you make a decision for your business, and it's not personal. You know, with some place that's not as corporate, they may make more decisions with their heart, because they may know it's personal, because that's what keeps their business year after year, which is important. So give us some pointers. If somebody is in the process right now of planning a holiday event, what would be some of the suggestions that you would give to them to make it unique or make it different?
Well, another big trend is not doing a traditional holiday party. I'm working with 3 corporate clients, and 2 of them are doing a luau theme. The other one's doing for the holiday party. Correct.
Wow.
And the other one wants to do a country costume, I mean line dancing and everything theme, with red and white, you know, checkered linens, and everyone dress up country. And so you don't have to do like the traditional Christmas party. You know, you can still have the Christmas tree, you know, for the gift exchange, but go outside the box. I mean, do a swing night, or just do something fun.
Swing dancing.
Yes.
Swing dancing.
Yes.
just there's this disclaimer there. We're not on that kind of mission, Toni Curlin. Oh, too fun. Tanya said to have fun today, so that's what we're doing.
And you knew I was going to be here, so like that's not going to happen. So.
No, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Mix it up, make it different. You know, even at our very own wedding, Jeff and I made it unique. We made it different. I came down the aisle too. Yes, that's right. That's right. You were. Oh my goodness. Oh, it has been a long time.
Yes.
I came down the aisle too. It had to be you. We had poker tables. Not that I endorse gambling, but for the guys that didn't want to dance, and we gave away prizes to the winners, and just made it as unique as possible, because we wanted people to remember it. We didn't want it to be just another wedding, and people still to this day talk about, you know, I played poker at your wedding. How random is that? You know.
Right.
And Don Gilmore was actually the one there doing it.
I was just going to say, create something signature about yourself. I mean, something that you know passes on. I do I call it Tony's Tidbits on Fridays. I do emails, and this can work for anybody, not just me. But you're giving tidbits about your company, or just some trends. Like I'll do a drink of the week, or I'm going to start now with holiday appetizers, and creating just you know, some fun things. I just started my Brookies, which is a brownie cookie. And, you know, and delivering them to our clients. Again, a lot of people can use a lot of things that I do, and I would be happy to email out my tidbits. But, you know, to keep yourself out in front of your clients, to also get new clients, to keep your, you know, streamline going. So we have, you know, a few signature things. We deliver our famous cheese torte, and people love that. Again, I'm just not a chocolate chip cookie girl, because I get a lot from the hotel, so I refuse to deliver chocolate chip cookies.
Do you know though? But to give a shout out, we just got here at WOAMTEC Corporate. The DoubleTree just brought us a bag full of their chocolate chip cookies.
And see, that's what hotels.
And the next day, in my kids' lunches, I took each one of the chocolate chips. And my daughter Michelle, she was like, oh, "You went to the DoubleTree? When did you stay at the DoubleTree?" And I was like, "No, they brought them to me," and it totally impressed her that the DoubleTree's bringing me cookies.
Right.
But that's where we're going to be booking the Youth Summit at. So, I mean, just that little gesture, everybody wears a sign that says, "Make me feel special." They want you to know that you care about them when you're not calling them, asking them how much they're services
Right.
cost, or when you're calling them saying, are you available this day? So,
Right.
Now, what do you have in front of you here?
Well, I always like to do something at the end of the weddings or a big event, and I'm all about bling, I think, for those of you that know me. And I like to create something, and as you are to me, I give them, and you are a gem to me. And it's a little gem, bottle opener, and then, so that's for the bride and groom, and I give them a card. And then I have this real pretty paperweight. You are a gem to me, Kathleen. So, creating something that, just you give people to, and I'm not saying that you have to do it with everybody, but something signature about yourself, and everyone knows I'm Toni Bling, so I kind of use that for my work too. But creating something that people will remember about you that's kind of special and different. Create your own brand, and I'm into branding. That was another thing big that's right now is rebranding. Step back and really, what is your brand? Does everyone really understand what you do? Do all our members know that we do off-premise catering? We can do all their house parties. I'm going to do what I'm calling a Candyland open house tour with Brian. And we're going to invite them in to just take tours and have them make their own cookies and stop at different food and beverage stations and promote holiday, birthdays, and anniversaries, because I don't think a lot of them, we're only having 10 people at the house, so we don't need any help. Again, call the professional.
Absolutely.
It's really key.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing. And since I have you here after 8 years, it took me to get her here. Since I have you here, you've been a director, you've led a successful chapter, over 40 members for 8 years. Tell everybody, if there's a director that's watching, let's start talking to the directors first. If there's a director watching, tell everybody, what is your biggest suggestion as a director for how to keep a chapter going 8 years strong?
I tell you, it's just engage with your members and just be excited and always come in with new ideas. It can be something as simple as today I gave away a bracelet and things like that. Do drawings, do different themes. We tie our meetings into charities also. You know how big we are with the foster care children. And we do a breast cancer walk in October. We do the school drive in August. We do the flip-flop drive for the abused women and children home. Try to tie it in so that you're tying in some community charity stuff too, because I'm really big on that. But just keep close with your members. I mean, we're really close. We're a close-knit group. But also encourage them to reach out to other WOAMTEC members nationwide if they're traveling or anything. I always go over the WOAMTEC website. Is your information correct? D2, we pointed it out today. I think Dee's watching. She tried to send some business to a member, but the information on the website wasn't correct. So just, and I have a sign-in every time saying, check this out when you're signing in, just to make sure everything's, proper. And making sure if you have members that join and they don't come, reach out to them, because, like Tanya says and everyone says, you're just throwing money on the table. And then after they don't renew and they say, well, I never got anything out of it. That's like the worst thing to tell me.
Absolutely.
The worst thing to say to Toni Curlin. And I will ask them, do they remember how many meetings they were at? And if you couldn't be there, did you send somebody else? Because, everyone needs to know you personally or they're not going to do business with you. That's just the way it is in this day.
Well, my next question was going to be, what would you recommend to members? So that's exactly it. If they don't know who you are, there's no way for them to like and trust you. There's no way for them to want to be loyal with you. There's no way that you're going to build that relationship that's going to make them want to refer you. So there's the disconnect right there. You have to engage. WOAMTEC only works if you work it. Thank you, Toni Curlin, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Love you with all my heart. And you wanted to offer somebody something if you're in such.
Well, if you'll fly me out to California, I will provide you 2 hours of personal planning service for an event that you may have coming up. So if somebody's planning something and you need help, we can do it over the phone. I could send you vendors. Truly, I've got people really all over the United States, because we do have clubs everywhere. We have 8 clubs just with the company I work for. So, we're at Amelia Island, we're in Jacksonville, Tampa, North Carolina, so we have clubs everywhere too. So if anyone doesn't know, you can go to heathrowccevents.com. And we have 8 clubs, and literally planning stuff all over. But I do help people through ACCP, which is the Association of Club Catering Professionals. People reach out to me all the time because, again, I've been doing this 30 years, so I need ideas too. So I'm reaching out too. I love new ideas. Every day I like to try to think of something new.
That's awesome. So if you are watching today and you've had an awesome event or been to an awesome event, reach out to Toni. You can find Toni Curlin on WOAMTEC's member directory, and you can also reach to her through the Heathrow website, which is also listed on the WOAMTEC directory, or online now with the fabulous Toni Curlin, Toni Curlin and Tanya Roller. They're both fantastic ladies. They're both awesome. So connect with them now and make sure that you share with them the amazing idea that you discovered from an event that you've been to recently. The holidays will be here before you know it. There aren't many shopping days left of this year. There's not many shopping days left of the season. So really take a look at what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and reach out and buckle down and make things happen, make it happen. I want to give a few last minute shout outs to some amazing new directors. Danelle Toner, woohoo girlfriend. I'm so excited that you're bringing WOAMTEC to Cary, North Carolina. Donna Fairfield, I can't wait to get to California. So I look forward to, hey, she's in wine country. She's in Fairfield, but it's really close to Napa.
Let me plan your party.
Let's go to Napa Valley. I can handle going there for a little bit. And then last but not least, Karen in Phoenix, Arizona. So Karen, we are so excited that you're part of WOAMTEC and you're helping spread the word and helping us just accomplish our goals of empowering women, building communities, and strengthening businesses all across the USA. With all of my heart, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here today, for believing in WOAMTEC and our vision to make a difference in the world. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you next month.